Boris Johnson is being urged to scrap his trade negotiations with the EU and actively seek no deal at the end of the transition period. Former MP for South West Hertfordshire David Gauke believes the Prime Minister is wasting his time trying to convince the EU to keep trading with the UK and should actively seek no deal at the end of the transition period this year, as the EU may not back the Prime Minister if things go wrong if the EU does not get the deal it wants at the end of the talks. This comes as the government revealed the UK is prepared to walk away from trade talks with the bloc as early as June if the talks reach a stalemate. He posted on Twitter, "If a deal is reached, the PM will have to sell it. He'll be very good at doing that, but he'll have ownership of it. He will be blamed if things go wrong, and for lots of people, it will. If there's no deal, the consequences can be blamed on the intransigent EU." Mr. Gauke also told Conservative Home, in terms of getting preferential access to EU markets, the best one can hope for is an unambitious, thin free trade agreement. Such an agreement will be better economically than a departure on WTO terms, but not that much better. Another way of putting it is that the economic downside of failing to get a deal is not that much because we have already accepted a great deal of pain as it is. The second consequence is that if recovering our political and economic independence in full is, to use David Frost's word, fundamental to Brexit, then it is very hard to find a compromise. Any deviation from such a position opens up a political vulnerability. The political pain of compromise gets greater every time someone in number 10 makes the fundamentalist case. Mr. Gauke added that the EU may not support the Prime Minister if he demands too much for the UK.